it's time for Hollybobs, and that means we're going to try and get bikes into boxes. You guys have actually asked us for this on the channel before, but how do we pack a bike into boxes? And we've got two bikes, very different little setups, two boxes which actually they're pretty much the same. We use the Thule boxes. We actually rent these out as well to people as well. It's a really cool thing. Most bike shops will rent out bike boxes and stuff. So we're going to show you how we go about doing it.
Cool.
So first
We've done it before.
Yeah, that was a year ago.
It was a year ago.
Now the really cool thing about these is they actually come with their own stand. First of all, you have some legs. This will all become clear. So you need to create that little situation. So yours is already attached, but kind of upside down. So this is going to be the bit for our bike here. So the idea is that this little bar here clamps to the bottom of the bike box, and this becomes our little bike stand to work with. So the bottom bracket rests on this, and your front fork goes through there with this axle.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, and then you strap this around this part of your frame to hold it all in place. You lift the whole thing in. So first job is to get your wheels out of your bike. So bottom bracket rests on the nice bottom bracket pad.
Ta-da!
That's it. Line the fork up.
Oh yeah, I need the thing. Can you hold my bike, please?
Yep, that's perfect. And if I can have that 6mm, I will catch up. So these things here, they also have all these adjustments as well. So if your bike's not quite lining up, you can slide these backwards and forwards. And you might have noticed we haven't even taken the pedals off. You don't need to, because there is so much space in there. One of the things we are going to do is put some brake holders. So this is going to slide in this skinny side, and they should clip in just to stop your brake pads being pulled. So you're going to be loosening the two side bolts.
Yeah.
And then removing that bolt altogether. And then what we want to do is wrap those handlebars in some packaging, because these handlebars are going to go next to your frame, and zip tie them into place.
I remember.
So it doesn't move around. So we need to protect
all of that.
All of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Next up is saddle. Now you just got a standard 27.2, and I see you've already put a bit of tape in here to mark your saddle position.
Yes, thanks to Henry.
And actually a bit of tape to protect where your thing is.
Yeah.
So you can just take your entire seat post out. There's no Di2 batteries in there.
Do I need to?
It might be small enough actually. Mine definitely isn't. Should we try? You might get away with it, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, give it a go. I don't mind either way.
If you did, it's not difficult because yours is good. Mine is definitely going to come out, and the problem with mine is that I have one of those seat clamp things which are really easy to lose. I'm going to remove this, make sure I hold on to that, wedge that with a bit of cardboard, and then zip tie it all together so I don't lose that little bolt. This tubing's not the best in the world. It's not massively open, but it does something so you can get it open, and then just zip tie it in place. It probably just needs to be around the forks and change days. Let's have a quick look on the inside of these boxes. So these done in like two parts, and they're sort of riveted together here. Sort of two big studs locate on the holes here, and then you've got two straps on the side there. Inside we have these little clasps at the front are going to clip in, and then we've got the clip system just here, and then we've got these two straps at the bottom which you can then use to strap in all of the legs and bits and pieces as well. So it's all really well thought out. Even this section here you can then put back here, so it's all clamped together and not going to rattle around. But right now let's just pull this out. So this is the process. You take the whole thing and line that up, and we're just going to push the whole thing, just clamp it in. And this part here goes sort of upside down, which is how you saw it when Vic got hers, and that just clamps back on there, and these all come together. They're actually sort of cut out at the end, so they're all designed to sit neatly together, and they get strapped with those Velcro straps. Bit of a faff, but it will look like that. It actually comes with its own padded wheel bags as well, so I'm going to let a little bit of air out, not loads.
Yeah.
We don't want to let all the air out, so all the tubeless fluid then goes everywhere. Just so they're soft and squidgy, so that if any airport inspector put the hand in and gave it a squish, they can at least tell that it's not full of air. A couple of other things we can put in the boxes. One, like to take a cheap plastic pump to keep the weight down, so nothing special about that. This is a Joe Blow. They work really well, but they're just
a what? A Joe Blow?
A Joe Blow, yeah. And just going to wrap this up in a big old towel. This is also dead handy of taking an old towel as well for like wiping your bike down after rides and stuff. So
I'm going to wrap my helmet up as well and put it in there. And my shoes.
And the helmet's actually a really good idea because your helmet's quite fragile. So this is the helmet I'm going to take. I'm going to take white helmets because one, sunny and hot, rather than the matchy aero look helmet. Okay. We actually got quite a generous 35 kilos, which we're going to be way under. So we can probably still put a few bits of clothing and bits and pieces in there. Just for the purpose of the video, let's just see how these lock up. So we have top handle, those two locating bolts. And the clasp on these I don't think is the best, and then that Velcro strap just holds all that together. And we do actually have like this little clasp here, so if you want to put like a little lock on it as well. I don't think that'll do anything to stop anyone getting in there, but it makes you feel a little bit better, right?
Boom, and then we've got a padlock at home, I think, for my one.
That's pretty much it. So whenever like packing a box, I always like to think that baggage handlers are going to use and abuse it. Don't ever assume it's going to stay in that direction. It is going to definitely be on its side. It's definitely going to have things put on top of it because that's what airlines do. But I mean, these have got a handle here. You can just about pick it up. There's a big handle down here which you'll use. The wheels are at the back, so you are going to have to pick it up. You can't just wheel it through the airport without picking it up. You're going to have to sort of pick it up and move it. If I had one criticism, I think it would be great if it had 4 sets of wheels. It'd make it all heavier, but at least you could then just sort of push it through the airport. But I think probably the best boxes out there are probably the Buxom boxes, but they've seen they're absolutely massive.
I haven't seen those.
And the Bike Box Allen ones are really, really popular, and they're really good. They're really strong, but they need to be a lot more deconstructing of your bike to go in there, really. This for me is a good combination between the two. It's a good size. Should get them, both of them, in the back of an estate car.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out in a second. Couple of points about batteries before we finish up. Now, when we got to the airport, we were actually asked to remove our SRAM Access batteries, which is surprising considering these are so small. These are just 2.2 watt hours, and according to the CAA, anything below 2.7 is absolutely okay. So a Campagnolo battery is okay, but the Shimano Di2 battery is not, which is really inconvenient if you get asked to remove your Shimano Di2 battery and it's buried behind your bottom bracket because your seat post is now too skinny. Anyway, back to the point. If you carry a spare battery, i.e. not connected, weirdly the allowance seems higher. What seemed to happen was that there was just a uniform ban. Just don't take lithium-ion batteries of any type in your hold luggage, put everything in your hand luggage to be scanned. So we did as we're told, and that's what we did. We undid our bike boxes and took all these out. So just beware of that. That was a bit of an embarrassing situation. And talking of embarrassing situations, because we can't take any CO2 gas, we took these little inflators from Toe Peak and another one from Prestacycle. These went into our hand luggage, but word of warning that these actually do turn on quite quickly, and if you're not careful, well, sound a bit like a, you know, get the idea. So that was an embarrassing situation, you can imagine. And one final thing we really did come a cropper on, even though the maximum allowance was 32 kilograms, they really didn't want anything in our bike box other than bikes. So I think my bike box came in at 28 kilos, and all I had in that was a track pump, which they did let fly in the end, and a helmet, but Vic had to take a few things out of her bike box and put it into her hold luggage. So definitely worth going through that list of restricted items on the CAA website, and also check with your airline, because it seems like they're getting quite hot on things. There we go. I hope you found this video somewhat useful. If you did, please put all your own personal hints and tips down in the comments below. I thought anyone watching it will be really, really grateful of any tips possible to look after your pride and joy when you're traveling.
Yeah, totally.
Other than that, next video you'll see us on
3-1-2 in.
6:30 in the morning on the start line. Let's go.